one bloke, the other guy was covered in his vegan bag.
Oh, I don't. I haven't been this year, so.
And then I got stuff.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes, that's good. All right. Thank you for giving up your Sunday morning to come down and listen to us while we're on out your morning. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Dan Gold and I'm the Chief Director of this Kangaree. Silly man who answers his phone and says yes to people. To start with, I'll introduce the team that's bringing you this Kangaree. If you'd like to come over here and I'll... No, you don't? Alright, fine. So I've got Nikki Coffey, the Director of Administration, the bus whisperer, Mr. Duckworth. If you want to get fed, you better be nice to Jess, who's looking after catering. Murray will be in charge of where you're all sleeping and just deciding in general. David's doing activities and Bronwyn's doing welfare. But she's not doing much welfare because everyone's going to behave. No bumps and scrapes and crying, is there?
No.
No. These are some of the people in the room anyway who are bringing you the Kangaree. Where's Josh gone? Josh is coming through the door now. Russell's still selling stuff. Michael Thomas couldn't be here today. Callahan's at work today. Daniel Greenall, our entertainment guy, is at AG doing entertainment. Security Neil Chalmers couldn't be here today. Mike Graham's outside taking money for the things Russell's selling. Barb's floating around somewhere. So this is the team anyway. Thank you guys. Please have a seat there. So, we have a few people talking to you today. We should be over and done with by about 12:30ish, we hope, so you can get out and have lunch and enjoy your afternoon. For those of you who are at the Kangaree Day, this will be fly past in comparison. We've had a bit of a rush in the numbers the last few days. As of midnight last night, there were 746 Joey Scouts, 42 Venturers, 17 Rovers, 299 leaders, 46 others, which gives us a total of 1,150. There's still a week to go with applications, so I think we should probably surpass our target of 800 Joeys, which is what we were, the target we were set by Brendan and John. And adults who are coming for one day only, who aren't staying, eating or sleeping, aren't counted in that, because there's a few people who are just coming in for help with activities, doing one morning or one afternoon and going home again. We're not charging them because it doesn't matter. Oh, okay. So Sue, do you have a few words you want to say? Start with you.
On the spot, I have not got anything prepared, but that's all right. Okay, for a start off, I'm really grateful that Dan took on Kangaree Director. It's amazing to have someone with so much talent and within a short period of time bring it all together. And to everyone that's come on board, I really thank you on behalf of the Joey Scouts in this state. Kangaree, over the last years, has been an ever-increasing thing for Joey Scouts. It's so popular now that, you know, it's just really good for them. They look forward to it. Not sure if the leaders do, but the Joey Scouts do. But anyway, really, I just want to say thank you. The numbers are amazing, because we did get off to a short. But the numbers are amazing, and I know it's going to be an amazing event. Okay, so thank you. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you, Sue. All right, next up we've got Nikki. There you are, all yours.
I get lost in the crowd.
Put off the desk down for it.
Oh, what are you implying?
Sure do not.
Fantastic. Oh, and I'm going to do this with bang thing. Does it just work automatically again?
Yeah,
not quite.
Yeah.
That's all right, I'll do it in a sec. Just because I want to use all the technology that's available. But thank you all for coming. Hopefully you learned something new today that you'll be able to take back to your Joey mobs. So whilst I'm normally in this role on a Monday, I'm cooker. So I totally get where all the Joey leaders are coming from as well, and the challenges that we've got getting the information to our own Joey mobs back home. So Has he got my clicker going? I think we're good. No, we're not good.
What's up?
I've got this going and not that going.
We've got one of each. It's all right, sir.
Oh, we're good.
We're good now,
Fantastic.
happy?
Thank
Oh,
you.
good.
All right. So this is my team in the admin group. We're here to support you in everything you need to be doing for Kangaree. So in the lead up, we look after inquiries and things, but when we're there on site, we're the point of contact for you to try and make your lives a little bit easier and the other service area leaders. So how we support you. Mentioned a few of the areas up here. So one thing that is going to be maybe a little bit different if you've been to a Kangaree before, with our wristbands, we're going to bring them to you at the buses. So for Kangaree, we don't really do independent travellers. Everyone should be coming through on the buses. We'll be meeting the buses or someone from the team with a little, probably a Ziploc bag or equivalent, and inside that will be your wristbands. As you travel around to get to your unload area from the bus, please put those wristbands on the joeys and on your leaders and everyone who's on that bus to have a wristband there with their name on it. Please put it on before they get off the bus, because once they're off, it's somewhat more tricky to track everyone down. So if you can aim for that, that would be amazing. Thank you. So the wristbands, which is what we're seeing over here, are important. If you look at me, so I'm Nikki C in the yellow. So the yellow is going to be telling me my activity group. So I'll know who all the yellows will be moving together to go to the different activity bases. So the wristbands are really important for knowing where you need to be. And the first two symbols, can you see there that I've got an ambulance in my first symbol? It means I have a medical issue or something that's on my record, on my application, that's been ticked as a medical. The second one says I'm also a modified diet. I have dietary requirements, which is the plate, knife and fork. The rest are either not for you or just there for fun. So those two, and it's always going to be in those first two spots, is medical and dietary. So that you can quickly see if there's any requirements on anyone who's wearing a wristband. So that's anyone who's applied at all. Yeah, day visitors will be wearing lanyards, and that was the two people that I'm aware of so far that have got special requests and are wearing a lanyard. So they'll be different, but they shouldn't be eating, and they certainly won't be sleeping. And it's people who like tri-pubbing, that sort of group of people. Okay. I'm getting chuckles from over here. Okay. There are no part-timers at Kangaree. If there are things like hospitalisation, we know things do come up. So if you have someone who will only be there, and I'm talking leaders and adults here rather than youth, because it is such a short time, you wouldn't look at having youth there part-time. But unless it really is like a hospitalisation when there's a special circumstance, we can have a look at that for you. Just send an inquiry to info@kangaree.com.au. But for leaders, they need to pop a note through to info@kangaree.com.au, letting us know that they're going to be coming at a different time and not travelling on the bus. Then we'll have an exceptions folder. When they check in, when they pop in on the day, they'll come straight into admin, and I think we've probably got a couple in the room. If you have to do that, come into admin. We'll have a wristband there for you if you've done an application, and then you'll be right to go to move around the site. But please come straight into admin, and then before you head off site, just check in with us again unless you're heading home on the bus. All right, great stuff. The next one is we're going to talk about phone number. So you might have questions from families about how they can contact Kangaree during the event. We will have a phone number that'll be up on the website, probably a day or so in the lead up to Kangaree, but that'll come through. And I believe overnight it's going to my mobile. So it really is for urgent calls only. Very important, it's not just checking in. If there's an issue, and this will probably be covered by Bron later, if there's an issue, someone from the official team at Kangaree would always contact the family. So only in an urgent emergency contact, they can use this number to ring us. Alrighty. So we are at the office building. You'll see on a map later on, it's almost a U, but you'll find us absolutely, we'll be there having some fun. In those inquiries we've been getting, which is over 400 that we've had so far, we've been getting a lot of pin generation requests, and we're absolutely happy to help with them. Just remember, the 4th of March is an absolutely hard cut-off date. There'll be no exceptions after the 4th of March. We've already pushed it out as far as we possibly can. We need applications to close before we can do things like organise the buses and confirm all the final food, so that 4th won't move for anyone. Can I come with my Joey Scout? This is getting tight, I guess, now, but you still can have your rostered parents and office bearers given a membership number, so go through their group leaders. They need to, though, have completed their Working with Children's, and they need to have done their Child Safe Scouting e-learning module. Now, there's been a little bit about police clearances. That for office bearers and roster parents, that's not a requirement. For Kangaree, you can see on the inquiry, on the FAQ page, that we're going under the major event policy, and that the police clearance isn't required for those people in those roles. That's separate to all of us leaders who absolutely have to have it. Yeah? Fantastic. All right. I might have mentioned again, 4th of March is our closing date, just so you don't forget. And this is when and where the buses will be moving from. And I'm sure we're going to hear more from Peter later on, but we're getting a lot of those questions. I'm sorry, I can't help yet. Until we know who's coming, we can't decide where all the buses are leaving from and what time. Oh, something with those Working with Children's and Child Safe Scouting. Those are an absolute requirement for people to be able to attend. We get a report through, and I've done an email out to those who are currently listed as not having that valid at the time of Kangaree. On the 14th of March, if they haven't completed it, even with all of our prompting, we will have to withdraw their applications, and we'll send them an email advising that they will not be attending. Yeah? And I'm suggesting we won't be able to offer a refund at that point because their food will have been purchased. So really important that they complete their Working with Children's and Child Safe Scouting well and truly before the 14th. And that's us. Last minute, I'll have to take out their wristbands and stuff because they'll already been printed. But that's okay. Do whatever we can to help, but we need the same coming back. They're the main things. We're really there to help all of you. Please come and see us if you need a hand at the office, and someone from the team will be there, right there at the bus when you arrive anyway, and be able to help you with the wristband pack. Are there any quick questions that you wanting to go through now, or I'm happy to come back down later on if there's things that come to mind later on through the sessions, if you let me back. Is there anything for now that you'd like to cover off quickly though? Perfect, great job. Oh, sorry, was that
Yeah, sorry. I had a question earlier and I had to remember what it was.
Sure.
With your activity ones, people, are Joey's in the same mob going to have the same activity?
Same colour, yes.
Yes.
Yes, so they'll move to the same activities together.
Because we've got a combined mob. We've got two different groups, but the one mob.
If you're coming on the same bus, you'll be in the same activity.
I'll explain a bit how that works.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just the teaser.
I know you've got a difficult job, but I think that's all right.
Fantastic, thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. You can harass Ducky
Come on,
later.
I line people up to the floor. Where are they?
Sorry.
Everyone's so spread out today. Like Cabaret, everyone was jammed right in. You had to bring your extra chairs, but you're all very spread out today. Bronwyn, the General.
No jokes.
No, we're not allowed to do up and down desk jokes, so put it down. That was not going to yell over it?
No, she wouldn't use. No one's going to tell her.
Alright. More?
Yeah, well, I couldn't see Nikki over it. Okay. Down to your knees.
Over there?
Oh, okay. Oh. Good morning, everybody. I haven't done a Kangaree for a while, because although I looked on last year's slides and apparently I did venture welfare, but I wasn't there, so it must have been really good. It's probably better than it was. Oh, I don't know the buttons to push, Dan. It's all right, I've only got 2 slides, so. Oh, beautiful. That'll do.
Okay, wait there.
Okay. Oh, you probably shouldn't have put that up yet because it's got naughty stuff on it. Oh, doesn't matter. Okay, we're going to have a ball. It's one night. One night. Can you say that after me? Right. And it's all about Joey's. So you can cope with that. Are you coming? Yes. Okay. So, we've got the adult wellness team coming from Kangaree to give us a hand. They are fantastic. They'll be really great for you. They'll listen to you and then they'll send you back out to play some more. It's only one night. Okay. Oh, we have some hillbilly teams, and they're coming down, but they're only still staying at Kangaree one night. I did have a circus tent for you to come and visit us in. Somebody's booked it again, so we haven't got a circus tent, but I'm sure you'll meet a whole pile of clowns in the tent. We're going to have a little area for the Joeys to come in and just maybe chill out. I know a lot of kids, it's so high powered, there's so much to do, there's so many people, there's so many leaders being really happy and not cranky, that they sometimes just need a little bit of time out. They can come and visit us, they can sit down quietly, have a little drink of water, maybe a treat. You don't never know what I'm going to come up with. Definitely treats, but it's only for a quick visit because they've got too much to do, don't you? There's so many amazing activities for you to do, and it's only one night. So we have a quiet area for the adults to come and have a quick break. We have a coffee van coming. So there shouldn't be any cranky people. There's a 24-hour tea and coffee station set up by our amazing Jess and her team. So there should be no complaints. Her food is going to be amazing, so you won't be hungry. You won't need to bring extra snacks because then we know that we've only got the right things on site and there won't be any nuts or anything like that. You will be prepared. That's where it comes in. So being prepared, I want you to go back and empower your Joeys. There is nothing worse than getting up in the morning and all your mates are around you. Has anyone not seen these? They're on special for $8 at the moment and they come in Superman and Frozen varieties. And I'm a grandma, so I have spares at home anyway. Empower your Joeys. Talk to them about it. There's nothing wrong with wearing a pull-up to bed if you're organised, because they get so tired. You all know from Couple, those of you who've been to Kangaree, they just don't wake up. And who wants to get up, and you'll agree with me, in a big room full of kids in the middle of the night where there's only a little light and you think the toilet's out there. Oh, but then you walk this way. Oh, and then where was my bed? So you just don't worry. So give them the choice. And then you teach the parents. I'll just have a little Ziploc bag with a little packet of wet ones. Go, just whip into there, whip it off, get your jammies off, put it in the bag, use the wet ones. We're good to go for the day. It's only one night. So get some of those. Actually, the frozen ones were really cute. Oh, you'll need to bring your own coffee mug. Oh no, you're getting mugs. Someone else got one of these. They were specials. This is for a prepared Joey leader. Child poncho in your backpack and a couple of adult ones. Because how many parents never pack coats? I had a heap of other things. Bring a spare hat. Bring a spare sleeping bag. Before you get on the bus, you say to the kids, who forgot their sleeping bag? Why did we have to bring a sleeping bag? What else has I got? Oh, lollies, quick snacks. Make sure if you've got any dietary requirements that you check that before you go and get, oops. You know I taste this anyway because I haven't unpacked this from Kangaree. And that's a bit hard. I'd give you a snack if I could, but I can't give you that. Anyway, so be prepared. I've done a hints and tips list, and that's going to be in the handbook which you'll get. Oh, and bring, I think on the hints and tips list I've said, bring one of those little quick roll-up mats that have got the vinyl bottom, because between activities you might have some downtime, and you can sit the kids down, they can have their snack or their afternoon tea, they can have a drink, they can, and I had some little packets, but my grandchildren have been, so they've been snaffled, of pick-up sticks and noughts and crosses that you can get from Kmart for $1. It's nearly the same as one night. So they're only $1, and they're in little drawstring bags, so the kids can just sit down and have a play. You don't want to be carrying around colouring pencils and other stuff, but you could if you've got a bigger backpack than me and not half the kitchen in it. So just be prepared. You're all amazing leaders. You can all do it. You've all practiced before. So what is the note really? It's only one night. Hugs the medicinal concrete supplied. So if you come down to me and you're having a bit of a meltdown because you've got revolting Joeys, amazing Joeys, or revolting leaders, that's usually the problem. You'll get a quick hug. You might be, someone will make you a cup of tea, and then we'll send you back out with the Joeys to have another play, because you've got so much to do and so many amazing people to meet. Train your parents. So leading up now to Kangaree, and you should have been doing it before now, and before all your sleepovers, train your parents. Now, we just have the best person. Who does your packing? Wrong answer. Wrong answer, pointed to Mum. So, Mum's allowed to help you get the list out. She's allowed to help you put it on the bed, and then who's going to pack your bag? Wrong answer. So teach them all this at Joey's. Another thing you should be teaching them is to how to get in and out of a sleeping bag. Remember, well you probably don't, when you were this big, and getting in and out of that sleeping bag, it wasn't fun and it wasn't easy. And then once you've zipped the zipper, where do your hands go? So practice that at Joey's. Practice all the things you're going to be doing. Practice packing your bags, which you probably should have done at your sleepovers because you've already sleepover badge. Practice getting in and out of a tent, out of a sleeping bag. Some of you will be in tents. You should be practicing that already. Practice things like going to the bathroom with a toilet bag. Using your toothbrush, for some that's a novelty. So teach them how to do that when they go on camp. Just easy stuff. No stress, make it a game. Toothbrushes aren't expensive at the reject shop. You get about 10 for $2. So you can practice that at Joey's. And then they get to take one home. And they can even bring it on their sleepover. So bribery and corruption is another amazing tool you can use. There's lots of other things you could be doing already. I have sleepover secrets at Joey's each week. And it's something that we say, we whisper it so that the other people in the room, usually the parents who are talking and getting in the way at the door, and interrupting, don't hear. So the sleepover secrets go along the line of, whose grandma snores or grandpa snores? And this is my favourite one. And they go, oh, mine does, but I don't like staying because I get frightened. Does your grandma or grandpa snore? Well, you know what? Your dad snores. And do you know why mums and dads snore and grandpas snore?
I snore.
Do you snore too? That's going to be the best. Do you know why? Do you know why they snore? So you can find them in the dark if you need to go to the loo. You can tell everybody that. So your sleepover secrets will go along the line of that. And they're so little, they'll believe everything you tell them anyway. If they don't, we'll make it look better next time. Empower your Joeys. They're going to have a ball, they're going to be organised, they're going to pack their own bag, aren't you? They're going to pack their own bag, they're going to learn to get in and out of their sleeping bag, they're going to learn to play with other kids. I have something I do with my grandchildren and my Joeys now too, which is along the lines of, oh no, what did you do today? Because every kid gets asked that when they get home from school, is how many people did you make smile today? Did you make Mum smile today when you said she packed? So that's your important role to do at Kangaree. How many good fun things did you do today? And how many people did you look after today? Or 0? Well, you've got the rest of the day to practice, so you'll be fine. Yeah, so that's the main parts of it. I think I've got one more slide. Maybe I haven't. Oh well, it doesn't matter anyway. The only other thing I was going to say too is, because we're doing Thursday, I don't know if I have.
You do?
I was a bit worried that when I put medicinal concrete that someone would get upset. Oh, I'm going to do first aid as well. And that brings me what I have written down anyway. Medications. Check the child, medication and administration, and 2 people need to check it. I don't care if it's just a Panadol. 2 people need to check it because the other person might not know that that child can't have Panadol or can't have, you know, an antihistamine or something. And make sure you record it properly. Bring your own Band-Aids and minor first aid kits. You don't need to go to first aid to put a Band-Aid on a finger. run it under the tap, had it dry with a bit of a tissue, and put a Band-Aid on.
Not too tough.
Not too tight, but put a Band-Aid on. It's going to come off in 5 minutes anyway, so it doesn't matter if it's tight or loose. It's only a placebo. Asthma medication is to be carried with the child. So they're all going to carry a little backpack, not one like this that would go down to your knees, a tiny little backpack, big enough for their... Perfect. Come here and display. Come and show everyone how big it is.
Open it up and see what's in there.
You get to argue later. While my, I was going to say victim, while my gorgeous little Joey's coming down here, show everybody. What's your name? Chloe. Chloe's going to show you the size of the backpack. I don't want to see one that's going to be as big as mine. Perfect. Turn around and show everybody. Turn this up. That's perfect. What a great little model you are. And what's in there? Your lunchbox?
No.
What's in there?
I think I'm going to pack it.
Look what she's got. She's got it all set up.
This.
With a hat. She did have a drink bottle. And in it is her medical alert. With her photo.
Oh, sorry, it's written in a different language for my tweet.
I was going to say,
Sorry,
I haven't got my glasses on, but X and Weiss and Weiss. Anyway,
Great, sorry.
that's an organised and perfect Joey.
Look, this is disgusting.
Even if it's orange. Okay. EpiPens are not to be carried, even though it says in one of your pamphletty things. I was talking to Ziggy about it, and he doesn't want kids carrying EpiPens. So whoever the leader is with that child must carry that EpiPen. Okay? There's no sideways of that. That's what's happening. And make sure Care Monkey's updated before any changes prior to coming to camp. Really, really important.
They must have Care Monkey.
They must have Care Monkey. Yes.
No, the master.
The master sheet that you fill out to come to camp is what we're still working from.
Yes.
Excuse me, I have to go to the admin.
The database, the Kangaree database is our primary method of health recording.
Okay.
But if you use Care Monkey in your log, make sure it's up to date, because that's what you would be going on with something.
Yeah.
Then that's fine.
Then print out your sheets that they've applied with, just so that you've got some. And you should already have any asthma plans and carry them. You should have any anaphylaxis plans as well. And the only other thing I'll say on that too, if you get on the bus and Magic Nicky's given you your wristbands, and one kid hasn't got one, and you've got a spare, don't put it on them. Someone at Kangaree came to the medical centre with a different band. Well, I said, that's not your name, because I actually knew that child. Oh, well, our leader had a spare, so she just put it on. So if that child's got an anaphylaxis or a medical alert or an asthma alert, and you've put some kid on that's got nothing, bubble. So it's not a stress to come to Nikki. She doesn't bite. If you give a lolly, she's even nicer. And she shares. Just whip down, get a new armband, don't put somebody else's on. It's a spare for a reason, because the child's not there. And the other thing I'll say too for welfare and first aid, if you have an issue with your mob, you come up to admin or to welfare. You do not put anything on Facebook other than happy smiling children or cranky leaders. No, we're not having any, we're having medicinal concrete, I've got to do that. You contact Nikki or Dan or myself, or whoever the first aider is, who will then contact the admin or the state team. And you know the reasons why. Things can become a totally different story in 2 seconds if it's on Facebook or if it's word of mouth. Oh my God, my child's broken their arm. No, they haven't. They've got a bandage on because they might have sprained it, but they haven't broken it. And the mother's stressing out. She can't even get there because she's, you know, they went on a bus and doesn't know where Lardner Park is because it's down in Gippsland. Don't put anything on Facebook. Don't ring parents.
You mean by posting a photo of the child with the bandage? Or
No,
just,
nothing.
Just like
Don't put anything, nothing on social media at all. So
Wow.
we've got, well, unless it's your own child, only your own child. So nothing from the event onto social media is the best way to go. You will probably just redone or have done recently, and certainly in the last 3 years, anyone who's attending will have done your child safe scouting module, and it explains it all there. But as a major event, we've got a marketing person who's going to be there. They'll look after putting out all that good stuff. Anything else should be coming through us.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ron.
Yeah. So do you all understand why?
You got something to say?
Just the reasoning behind that is, if you might be taking a photo, someone's taking a photo of Josh, but Nikki's in the background, that goes onto the social media. It could be well breaching somebody's intervention order or call order, and we can all get in trouble for it. So, really careful with social media. Only your own. If it's your son or daughter, take the photo. If not, take them, but don't put them on Facebook or Instagram or any of that stuff, please. At least until you get home.
Yeah, because our group's up there now this weekend and they've taken photos, but there's no people in there. There's either
Yeah, it is. No, that's
Yes.
fine.
to show the Joes the location of where they're going to be.
And that's a good idea because that empowers them. That they know where they're going, they get it all organised.
Yeah, but there's no people.
No, no. And the biggest thing is, leaders, please don't ring parents yourselves. Come through welfare, come through admin. For the same reasons. Everything gets misconstrued. You ring one parent, they ring another. You know, it's just better not. It's only one night. Thanks everyone. And any questions?
You've got the DVD from the previous one, that's how you show your parents where they're going, it's the same site.
Yeah.
So use the DVD, that will show the parents all about the site, like a previous Kangaree, but that will show them the site.
Any questions? Yeah.
Can I just ask, in previous Kangarees, sometimes with ratios, the leaders that were going with the Joe Scouts didn't necessarily stay with the Joe Scouts the whole time, sometimes they helped with different activities. I don't know if you're the right person to ask the question, will that happen again? Just for looking at things like if we are carrying medication for them.
If you, those people who are actually allocated to be with the children have to carry the medication, not the leader who might be allocated to do activities that day.
So do we find out who's going to be allocated?
You'll be allocated after the application's closed.
Yeah, so it's the email with the roles on it.
Yeah.
So after applications close, we've worked out that's the mobs. Every adult will get an email with what they're doing in Canberra.
Yeah. Anyone else?
With the social media thing, if you take a photo of your mob, can you then, after the event, pass that on to parents and then they can put it up after?
Yeah.
With the custodial stuff, it might be a case of parent X can't know where the kid is.
Yeah.
There's no contact. They can know where the kid was, just not where the kid is. So when you get home, you can put the photos up. Cool. That's fine, but not like.
Having just refreshed my little
Okay. I'll
e-learning
go to the
module.
expert.
No, only because I just had to redo it because my 3 years are up. It states that you need to have asked all of the youth in the picture whether they want to be in the picture. And if any of them says no, then that is absolutely their right to say no, and they would be excluded from that photo.
We also have the parents have to sign
Yeah,
permission for the kids to be photographed when they sign up to the group.
And that might be something you're
That's
choosing
what
to
they
do.
do.
I'm just
Signing
going
up
to
for
it.
Kangaree.
When they sign up for Kangaree, it does, in the terms and conditions, there is a photo and video consent there. So they are consenting to have by turning up at the event, everyone who comes to the event is consenting to have their photograph taken. That's mainly for the DVD and for the Scouts Victoria social media guys who will manage your social media, because they know which kids can and can't have their photos taken. But it is a good idea though, when you've got your mob together, ask, is everyone happy to have their photos taken? Yes! Click. And then when you get home, put it on Facebook. Just not.
Taking a photo and posting on
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but the kids might say yes, but the parents might have said no.
Parents can't say no because they can't come to Kangaree if they've said no.
No, but the parent previously has said they don't want the child photographed, but the child in the group, when anyone says, do you want to have your photo taken, they'll say yes.
Well, if the parent said no and you're aware of that,
Yeah,
then that's something you can manage with your own kids. So we're saying for Kangaree, by turning up to Kangaree and registering for it, you agree to our terms and conditions, one of which is we'll take your photo. We may.
The e-module suggests putting them at the end of the group so that you can Photoshop them out before posting.
Yeah, and just crop them out at the front. Yeah.
There's ways and means. Anything else quickly? Beautiful. If you've got any questions, you can send them through and we'll get
Look
answers.
after you.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Alrighty. Mr. just a bus whisperer.
Make it up as we go on.
Yeah.
That's all right. I don't need slides. I'm big enough and ugly enough to look after myself without slides. I would like to sort of just go through a little bit about how the buses are put together. And we just get all the Joeys and we sort of stream them in the top of the computer and they all just fall into buses. No, it starts off basically by region and then district and then group. So I will not split a group, a home group, up on two different buses. Predominantly you'll find, unless your district is huge, you'll probably all be on the same bus. But there's no guarantees to that because some of the districts are spread over a large area and we have to put, you know, the bus is coming from Sunbury and the other one's coming from Hume. They're not going to be together, but the groups will stay together. And also if your groups are from, you know, there's first, third Sunbury and second Sunbury or something, they would be together. I wouldn't, you know, separate them. But there may be the case where some are separated onto buses in the one district, but no group will be split up. If you've got a group that's coming from a long way away from you and you specifically want them to be together, I'm not a Joey leader and I don't care and I don't share, but basically you would have to let me know, but in reality, the bus, we had a one-day event, one night, and some of those kids are coming for 4.5 hours on the bus. And every time I stop the bus, we all know what Joeys are like. They're very quick at getting on the bus and saying goodbye to their parents for 20 minutes. So every time I stop a bus, I have to add at least 10 minutes to that journey. So I try and keep those stops to a minimum. And that's just in the interest of a one-night activity and the Joeys not spending more time on the bus than they are at the activity. So some of you will have to drive a little way to get the bus because if you've been... Who's been to Kangaree before? Oh good, I'm preaching to the converted. So it's very difficult for the buses for Kangaree. It's much harder than Kangaree or the Jamboree, and I've done both of them for a long while, because we put together a whole troop at a Jamboree, and that troop gets picked up from one spot, predominantly, occasionally two. Kangaree, to fill a bus of 57 seats, we're picking up from many spots in some cases, and over fairly large distances. So we have to do our best to get that 50 to 57 people, or the price for Kangaree goes up. Because we pay by bus. If there's 3 empty seats, they don't give us a discount. If there's 20 empty seats, we don't get a discount. We have to try and fill the bus up. So some of you will look at and it will come out when you get your lists, and think, I've got to drive 12 minutes, and occasionally, very rarely, but occasionally it might even be what you think is in the wrong direction, but it's put together because over there was 10 Joeys coming and you had 2, and I'm not going to make 10 go to 2, I'll make 2 go to 10 wherever possible. So I'm just hoping that gives you a bit of an idea of how it goes together. The other thing that's really important is I have seen Joeys turn up with more gear than most scouts take to a 12-day Jamboree. Including, I made the mistake of going to a Joey sleepover. And one kid came in with a rolled up foam double mattress. And I looked at it and I said, you're not taking that to Kangaree. Oh, Mum says it'll be comfortable. Well, Murray hasn't got enough room on the floor, and I can assure you that the buses have got a lot of room, but they haven't got enough for a double bed. So please, when you're packing, have a little bit of think about it. Also, remember that it's really good if it can be in just one bag, because 57 people in some cases are going to get off a coach, and if all of them have got 3 bags, you can imagine the chances of getting it lost. And don't think it's the poor little Joey Scouts that lose them, because I had a leader come up to me at another event and said, I can't find my bag. And there was a big pile of bags. And I said, go away, come back when the majority of them are gone. There was one bag sitting on the ground, and the leader came up and said, I still can't find my bag. And I went, there's only one there, would that be it? I don't know, my wife packed it. I went, try opening it. So, you know, keep the numbers of bags down to a minimum. It does make life easier. When we get to Kangaree, we'll ask that a leader with the mob stays, a couple of leaders with the mob stay on. All venturers and any activity leaders and anyone else who's spare, if they can, because the bus will come, pull up at the shed where you're where you're sleeping, and we want everyone that can get off the bus, except for the Joeys and a couple of leaders to look after them, to help put that gear in, because there'll be, well, at the moment there's 18 coaches coming in. We need to do that in about an hour and a half, and the few people that, you know, my team didn't have 5 people, it's just got me, and I'm not really good. I struggle to fit in a sleeping bag, let alone worry about shifting them all. If you can make sure that as many people get off and help put the stuff there, the Joeys and the mob leaders will go off to Cherry Lane and disembark the bus there. That keeps them away from where all the gear's been moved around. When we go home, there'll be spots marked on the ground that's got Joey bus number 1, and David Collins is on Joey bus number 1, so he will make sure that all his gear is put with that sign. And while lunch is happening, we'll have some people hopefully loading those buses so that when they won't be leaving first, by the way. Joey bus 1 is close to Melbourne, but the ones that they'll be loaded on the bus, kids can come, the little Joeys get on, count them, check them off, hand off to admin that you've got your whole bus load, and depart. So that's the process at the site. You will get an email from me hopefully shortly after the 4th. I had everyone on buses until 100 and something more people applied in the last couple of days. So I think I've got 60 something that are still walking. It's not just a matter of saying, oh, 60, that's just another bus and a bit. They're on every one of those 18 buses. So as soon as I possibly can after the 4th when it closes, and I will keep updating them and shifting them around. But you have to understand that when I get to 57 and 3 more apply, I can't stretch the bus, so I have to take someone off that bus and find somewhere else to put them, and that process can shift it. So when people say to me, what time's my bus leaving? I can tell you what time your bus is leaving now, but you might be on a different bus at a different time by the time the event comes along. So if you've got any specific inquiries for transport, and I know there's a whole lot on service desk already, but I can't really answer them until I've got some idea myself. Kangaree at vicscouts.com.au is the service desk, and the admin people will nicely forward that to me and probably tell you that they're forwarded to me, and you'll go, he's not answering, but he is thinking about it, until just after the 4th when I hopefully have all of these people on buses. You'll also know at that stage between admin and myself as to what mob you'll be in terms of colours and things like that, and that's put together simply by buses. The buses that are furthest away, people coming down from Wodonga, will be last in and first out, simply because they've got the furthest distance to travel, and we don't want them home at midnight. We don't want them leaving at 4 o'clock in the morning either. So that's how the bus works. That's how it's going to work. It works very well normally, and I have the potential to stuff it up between now and then, but we'll give it a try. Anyone got any questions? Yep, here's the question that she had some before, she's remembered them.
Yeah. I probably will send an email to you.
Really good, because I've got a memory like a sieve.
Diamond Creek, Eltham North are the one mob.
Diamond Creek and Eltham North are on the one bus. Joey bus number 2 at the moment.
We had an unfortunate incident at the last Kangaroo where our Joeys got split between 2 buses.
Oh, well, that was because I was feeling particularly un-Joey-like and caring and sharing. Oh, right. Yeah, just send it through so I don't accidentally shift them later. But at this point in time, they're certainly on the one bus.
We've got more leaders going this time, but only one out of that 4 has actually been to Kangaree before. So the other 3 of us are just following the other.
Well, they'll be the most experienced. They won't know what they're letting themselves in for, so they'll be perfectly fine. Yep.
I spoke to you at the zoo day. I work from Beechworth, and it takes us about 5 hours plus to get down there. The last couple of years we've been driving ourselves down to Broadford or somewhere halfway.
If I'm at Wangaratta, we're going up for it's fine.
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah, well, that's Beechworth. Aren't you coming down to camp on Friday night?
I've not heard anything.
Well, neither. There you go. Maybe you'll find out that you might be, and then you won't worry me. At this stage, I have a bus going up as far as Wangaratta, I think.
Yes.
That's a sleepover secret. We're not telling you that. It's so secret that they don't even know. I'm good at blowing secrets. Just ask the Jamboree organising committee.
The reason why we go halfway down
Is to reduce the travel time.
and your kids are knackered by lunchtime on the Saturday. And they miss out half the activity.
Yeah. So, I'm cool with that, but I need to know because obviously I look at your home mob. If no one's told me, I'm going to put them on the bus there, and the bus maybe down at Wodonga, maybe at Broadford might be a different bus altogether, and there's no seats. So let's just make sure you put that through so I know it.
I'm hearing that you might not have heard that you guys have an invitation anyway to come right down to Lardner Park on the Friday if you want to. Stay on the Friday night if you're travelling independently. So then, you see, you just come straight in. You see you guys up in one of the pavilions for the Friday night.
Me too?
Actually, is it all right? We were going to ask, we want pioneer or groundbreaker
Suckers.
mobs. No, they're not. If I have to sleep in a tent, anyone can. But if you could come down on a Friday, we'd like you to be part of the groundbreaking for camping for Joey Scouts because it will be happening. We've also got Beaconsfield and Murbu North and one of the groundbreaker mobs in Peasmont and Maroondah doing it. So we're going to set up what a campsite would be like and for the Joey Scouts to sleep there. So if you came down on a Friday, you'd be sleeping in the tent on the Friday night.
Would it be like we had the first Kangaree zoo where they were the big marquee?
No. You'll have tents. We'll have it all set up for you. So it'll just be that 5-star tent that you'll move in and you'll only have to bring your sleeping equipment, is that okay? Does that sound good to you?
It does. In fact, that would suit me far more than getting up Saturday morning.
Well, that was the whole idea that drew you guys down.
Yeah, so if you're country, and it would be easy for you if your kids took Friday afternoon off school and you could travel down to Lardner Park on the Friday night, let us know, we can work that out, but you would be travelling independently, we can't run buses up and down on the Friday. You're welcome to stay in the pavilion, but we need to know so he can take you off the bus list, and Jess needs to know so we can feed you on the Friday, breakfast on the Saturday morning, and if so make life easier, help you.
Who's the best person to talk to?
Yeah.
About all that logistics stuff?
info@kangaree.com.au.
You're using the word talk.
Talk? Come and find us later.
Real words.
Yeah. The end.
Okay.
This is a question about the guys sleeping in tents, because there's Maroondah. Is it one big tent the mob will be sleeping in, or are they smaller tents so you can figure out?
There'll be separate tents, like they might be an auto tent, like Murbu North will be bringing an auto tent for the kids to sleep in. It'll be set up, if you've been to Kangaree before,
We're just trying to work out
before.
how many kids will be sleeping together, so we can go, right, these 3 in a tent together are not going to sleep. And so when we get there, we know which kid's going into what tent, for instance, rather than turning up and trying to go, well, what size tents are they going into?
Bring your own, it's easier.
Well, Beaconsfield are bringing their own, so is Murbu North. So these leaders know their Joey Scouts. So maybe you let me know what you require for the Joey Scouts that will be coming, and we can go from there. Is that okay?
Or you con your scout group to come and get your scouts to come down and do some service and put up the tents for them.
Yep.
I have a question, and I know you said the bus is changing that, but last time We were actually originally going to have to go all the way, I'm from Point Cook, and we were going to have to go all the way down to Lara to be picked up, but they did actually change that eventually. Is Werribee Plains going to be on one bus this year?
At the moment, Geelong and Werribee Plains are on the one bus, but there's 60 people on it. So, there will have to be I think Point Cook or something like that will probably, disappear off it or something. I haven't actually.
Because we would, obviously from Point Cook, we don't want to have to be going.
You don't want to go down to Geelong. No, that's fair enough. And I think there is a pickup on the way up. But
as long as we're picked up on the way up, it doesn't matter. But our preference would be to be with Werribee Plains.
Yeah, it's just hopefully you'll stay with Werribee Plains, but there is an issue with we need a bendy bus. Anyone else got any questions? Yep.
I just wanted to provide a little bit of feedback. Last time we caught a different bus home that had a different storage size underneath.
Well, that's not acceptable.
So the parents had to come up to Lara with a trailer and take all our bags.
I've actually changed bus companies.
Beautiful.
For a couple of reasons. One of them was that, and the other one was this lot of cheaper. So hopefully you should have the same bus.
Okay.
Unless it breaks down or something, and beyond our control. But yes, that. Yes.
Will there be bus captains like you do for Jamboree?
Yeah, so there will be a bus captain, and predominantly because at the Jamboree, they're the Jamboree troop leaders, so I know all those. They probably wish they didn't know me, but they do. But it'll probably be the first leader that gets on the bus, or a Joey leader. Obviously, and that's something I haven't said. At the moment, there is 29 Joeys indicating that they're not travelling on the bus, and we've heard that Joeys predominantly should be on the bus. So perhaps you would like to check that out. They will get an email from me shortly saying, you should be on the bus, how come you're not? I suspect they've just clicked the wrong bit, but at the moment, they're not on a bus because they say they're not. Right? So we need to sort that out. Sorry, I forgot what I was talking about. Yep.
I was just going to ask, we did accidentally put the word travel separately. Can we go back to the registration and re-click that?
Yes.
Cool.
And perhaps if you do that, can you also send an email into info@Kangaree?
No worries.
Or if they just do their email, I'll do the change for them.
Yeah, if you do, perhaps if you do that, because my concern is that I do keep downloading the database, but I have to actually then go down that no and yes list and copy it in, and I don't like to do that too often in case I put it in the wrong spot.
Just we're coming down to the and I'm not sure how the buses would work. We have to go to Ballarat.
Where are you coming from, sorry?
Creswick.
There's a bus out of Ballarat, but I can't actually remember where it starts down there. See, I told you my memory's useless. But yeah, just pop it in, just let us know. There is 2 people, and they'll get a phone call from me that are coming with 1 leader and 1 Joey, some very obscure places, and we'll probably come to an agreement with them if they wish to drive, because they're going to have to drive halfway there just to get the bus. Any other questions?
Last time on our bus, the driver actually forgot to pick up a mop.
Well, there's another reason why we changed. Look, with the pickup, and this has happened at a couple of events. The bus drivers are given a sheet which tells them the pickup points, the number of people that get on at those points. You will get and have access to that same information from the database. So please, if there's a pickup point at La Trobe University and 8 people are supposed to get on, the bus captain who will have that sheet, make sure that the bus actually stops at La Trobe University. Yeah, you have to go back. I remember it. I was at home very unwell, and I'm trying to sort the bus out. But whoever's on the bus captain has a responsibility. It's not to just go, oh yeah, that's good. And look, right back at 2007, there was a bus coming from down Geelong way somewhere to the Jamboree for Cup Day or Visitors Day, and the people on the bus go, oh no, we don't need to stop there, because they thought they'd get there quicker. But the bus then had got, an hour up the road and had to turn around and go back again, and they were all upset. But so the bus captain's role is important. You have the list, and if the drivers, they're bus drivers, they're not rocket scientists, I'll give you that. But if you say to them, hey mate, your list said you've got to stop at La Trobe University, why haven't you? He'll go, oh, and go back. Right? And that's why the bus captain's role is important, and making sure you actually got all the joeys, and if the bus stops for them to go to the toilet, you check you got them off, because, leaders are good, but on the way to another event, they stopped, got off the bus to go to the toilet. At a service station, one kid decided that it'd be a pretty good idea to go and get something to eat. Everyone else got on the bus departs. Luckily, the next bus stopped at the toilet and goes, there's one extra. So they did actually pick him up and take him to the event. There's no excuse for the bus captain, they should be shot. All right, so please, they are joeys, they're precious little individuals. Please make sure if they get on and off, let's face it, if they don't all get there, there'll be less of them to upset you. Yeah, one more question.
Last time we went, we had a bus coming from the other side of the Forest. Coming the other side, a tree was down on the road.
Yes, it delayed the process.
But we had no idea, except for the fact that one of the leaders on the bus actually sent us a text message saying it will be a while because of that. There was no way to communicate with anyone.
Yeah, again, the phone numbers will be on the bus list. It's pretty difficult for me, either at Lardner Park or at home. By the time the bus rings the bus company, who ring me to say it's delayed, and then I look it up and try and find the phone number, on the bus captain's list will be the phone numbers of all of the people, because if someone doesn't turn up at a stop, you've got 8 to pick up and only 7 are there, you need to make a call and just find out, are they sick and not coming, or are they just lost? And at the end of the day, it's up to us at Kangaree to make a decision then whether we leave them and go, not for you, but we need to, you need to ring us and say, we're picking up, there's only 7 here, there should be 8, this person's not coming, because admin may have found out that they're not coming. But please don't just leave them sitting there. Or you get the odd parent that says, I'm not on that bus, there's another bus coming. No, there's not. You're in the middle of Upper Kambukta West and there's only one bus going there, and then we have to go and pick them up. That was Kangaree 1. So, it can happen, but we try to prevent it, but the bus captain gets a big responsibility to make sure that all of that happens. All right? Good. No more questions. You enjoy it. Just one sleep.
Thank you, Ducky. You do notice the running theme we've got going here, where it's just one night. Just one. Get through it one night. Food. Jess, come on down. You're shy as hell. I do.
Okay. Is this a good height down?
Would you like me down or up?
No, I think this is fine. Alright, so I know Nikki has already mentioned that the closing date is 4th of March. I do just want to say that again. The closing date is the 4th of March. One of the really important reasons why it's the 4th of March is because we have to finalise all the food orders. So we just can't take more people past the 4th of March. So please make sure you're communicating that very clearly with your mobs back home.
What was that date?
4th of March. Okay, cool. So, how are we going to feed everyone? Alright, so welcome to Dining Hall A. So this is what Dining Hall A will look like. Actually, I think it's in the other room, but it'll look exactly like that. So we are predicting there will be about 1,000 people eating in this room. So this is for all the Joeys and their line leaders. As we've already heard before, after the closing date, which is Great. You will receive communication about what is your role at Kangaree. So the people who are with Joeys, line leaders, will be eating in this hall with the Joeys. So we expect there's going to be about 1,000 people eating in this room. We can fit 70 tables. We have 10 on each table. Can someone do the maths? So that means we have to turn over tables, okay? So that is where the next thing becomes really important. In your book, you will see there's a timetable. If you don't have, you'll get a copy of the book today if you haven't already got one. If you haven't got one, we'll make sure you have one when you get to Lardner Park. The timetable here is really, really important. So you can see that yellow group starts lunch at 12 o'clock, and red starts at 12:10, etc. You'll see that yellow group has 20 minutes to eat their lunch. So we need the leaders to help get the Joeys eating efficiently, okay? It can be a challenge, I know. What you see here, to make sure that we can get those 1,000 people through the dining hall, those magenta people need to be able to sit at the yellow people's tables. So once the yellow group finishes eating, they take their 20 minutes, they eat nice and quickly, we then have 10 minutes to clear the table, clean the table, and reset the table. So it's all quite tight, right? So we need your help in making sure that we can stick to this timetable. The other good thing about turning up at those 10-minute intervals, as per the timeline, is that we're going to minimise waiting time. You don't want to stand with your Joeys in a queue at the dining hall. Go to Wombat Hollow or play a game on the grass or something like that. Come at your prescribed time so that you're not going to be standing in big queues. Alright, so dining hall B. Ooh, doesn't that look like glamorous food? So dining hall B is where the service and activity leaders will be. So these are leaders who have been assigned a role that's helping on an activity, or it's in the catering team or some other team, but they're not with Joeys during the day. So this is where they will be eating. It's a buffet style, so they will be able to help themselves. As Brian mentioned, there will also be a tea and coffee station in Dining Hall B, 24/7, where you can go and get a cup of tea, coffee, hot chocolate, maybe a bicky if you need, any time of day or night. It will always be there with hot water. Oh, also I've mentioned their coffee cart, so we heard about that before too. So there will be a coffee cart, you'll see on the map shortly. There's like an alfresco eating area with some tables under some nice shade cloth that's sort of in the, like there's an L of building and that's in the middle there. You'll see it on the map shortly. There'll be a coffee cart in there, and the coffees are $3.50 each. So please make sure you bring some change if you're wanting to buy real coffee. If everyone brings $50 notes, it will just be a debacle, so please bring some small notes and change. And also bring your own coffee cup. I'll talk about cups in a second, what you will get. But for coffee, you might want, you know, a travel mug that's insulated with a lid or something. Please bring your own. We want to minimise disposable stuff as much as possible, so please bring a travel mug. Alrighty, so mealtime. So what do we need you to do at mealtime? Okay, so before the meal, so before your scheduled time of when you need to be at the dining hall, please take all your Joeys to the toilet. What we don't want to have to do is during mealtime have Joeys getting up and down going to the toilet. So please get all that done before you come to the queue. And of course, after we've gone to the toilet and before we eat, we want to wash and sanitise hands. Okay, so you can wash your hands in the bathrooms, there will be plenty of soap there. And then in the queuing area for just outside the dining hall, there will be hand sanitiser, like the Aqueum in the pump pack, that they can put on their hands, and then that doesn't rinse off, that just stays ready to go. And then line up at Dining Hall A. So at Dining Hall A entrance, there'll be a big sign so you'll know exactly where it is. We will have a door wrangler. I'm not quite sure where they got that name from, but that's the name that they have. So the door wrangler will look really exciting and interesting, and probably a bit like a clown. And he will be arranging people into groups of 10. So as we talked about before, given the number of people that we have and given the tables that we have, everyone must be in groups of 10. So we can't have 9, we can't have 11. There's 2 reasons. Firstly, logistically, so that we can get everyone in and out and through. But secondly, because meals will be coming to the tables in batches of 10. So if you've got 9 people on your table, that means that there's an extra meal that's potentially going to waste. If you've got 11 people on your table, there's not enough food, okay? So everyone must be in groups of 10. So that may mean that mobs will be split. However, Joeys are all about caring and sharing, and we seat the tables in a logical order next to each other. So if a mob is being split, it actually means they're just going to be on the table right next door. So you can turn around and your Joeys will be right next door to you. All right, so once you're on the tables, if you have a Joey or a leader who has a modified diet, which we learnt will be displayed on their wristband with the knife and forks and plate symbol. If you have someone who has a modified diet need, then please send a leader to go up to the modified diets window. Please don't send the Joeys, send a leader to go and collect the meal for them. If the leader's collecting on behalf of someone, they just need to know their name. We'll be able to look them up and find out exactly what their modified diet need is. But if you can have that conversation with the Joey first, it might speed things up a little bit. So I mentioned before, you'll be getting a package of effectively 10 meals that come to the table. We ask for you guys to please help the Joeys in serving the meals, and I'll talk about that a little bit more as we go through the menu. All the Joeys will also, and leaders, I believe, will also be getting one of these cups. So you can see that orange cup down there. Once you come into the dining hall, there will be drinks on the table. Please pour the drinks for the Joeys. I know Joeys can sometimes struggle with pouring into the cup. So please, you pour for the Joeys. And also, let's not pour right to the brim. Let's maybe give them half a cup at a time. You know, all this sort of stuff anyway. We just want to try and minimise spillage as much as possible. All right, so then at the end of your meal, what do we need your help with? There will be a garbage bag on the table that we ask you to collect all the rubbish into. We will be predominantly using disposable plates and cutlery that's all biodegradable. So if you can please collect those together and the leftover food and put it into that garbage bag, which is also biodegradable, which we will then take away. If you've got any, we might sometimes include a metal knife or spoon or something to help with serving. Obviously, please don't throw them away. But yeah, if you can help pack up the rubbish, that will make everyone's life a whole lot easier. Now, as you leave the dining hall, you will be walking through a small marquee. So the exit is separate to the entrance. You walk through a small marquee that will have snacks. And those snacks are for the Joey Scouts to take away with them to have during the day. We will have a pallet load, maybe even more, of fruit. So everyone can always have as much fruit as they want. And for each morning and afternoon tea, there will also be a sweet snack as well that are individually wrapped. So the idea is that the Joeys choose a piece of fruit, and they take one of the sweet snacks and they put them into their backpack, and that's then their morning tea or their afternoon tea. The other thing you will get is one of these bags. They're stylish. Thank you, Russell. So that will be to put all your cups in. So once you've finished the meal, Joeys have had all their drinks, please wash the cups out, pop them in your dilly bag, and then they're ready for you to carry and take to your next meal. Please bring your own tea towels to dry off those cups as well. Alrighty, so what are we actually eating? For lunch, we will have been working really hard from much earlier in the morning to pre-make a whole lot of sandwiches. They will come in a plastic tub like this. There will be 15 sandwiches in that box, so that means that if a leader wants 2 sandwiches, or if a Joey wants 2 sandwiches, or an extra half a sandwich, then there is plenty in there for the 10 people to have. There will be pre-made sandwiches of ham and cheese, ham and salad, chicken and lettuce, salad, and I can't remember what the 5th one is. Anyway, an assortment of sandwiches. So please have a look at those sandwiches with the Joeys. If someone doesn't like chicken but likes ham, then dish out the sandwiches as needs. Alright, so then for dinner we have build your own burger. So again, a kit will come to you with food for 10. So there'll be an alfoil tray with cooked burgers and some onion, and there will be hamburger buns, and there'll be salad, and then there'll be salads as well. So help your Joeys in preparing their burger. So if Johnny doesn't like tomato, that's fine. Johnny doesn't have to have tomato in his burger. And there's also salads to go with the burgers, and then there's a yummy ice cream treat for dessert. Now you'll notice that is actually the ice cream treat that we're having. They're really delicious. My kids have given them the big thumbs up. And they can be eaten in your hands. So so for dinner, we have 30 minutes on the timetable for you to eat your dinner. So if you're starting to run out of time to be able to eat those at the table, you can take them away outside and eat them outside. So just keep that in mind. All right, for breakfast the next morning, we have cereals, and we have pancakes, yum yum, and some juice. Then lunch the next day is much the same. The only difference is if anybody needs to leave early, if a bus is leaving early, which we'll know after the 4th of March, then we can put them in takeaway bags so you can take some sandwiches onto the bus if need be. Also, you will also get a snack after lunch on the Sunday. That snack being for them to have on site if they're still on site, or take away on the bus with them if you've got a long bus trip and need a snack. Okay, modified diets. So you will have seen through a lot of the menu that it's build your own, and there's choice available. So we do get a lot of people submitting their applications. We have 12 menus on offer. We do get a lot of people who select the other menu, which is, come and talk to me directly, which I do. I go and email those people individually. And they might have chosen other because Tim doesn't like sausages. That's okay, we're not serving sausages. So what we've done is we've then turned them over into the standard menu because that's no longer applicable. Also, similarly with the tomato example, so if someone just doesn't like tomato rather than an allergy or something, then they can choose to not have tomato in the burger. So we've tried to design the menu in such a way that we can deal with a lot of those preferences at the table rather than having to go to the modified diets. All right, so I mentioned before that once you sit at the table, if you have people on your table that have a modified diets, please send a leader up to the modified diet window to collect those meals. There will be huge signage, so you won't be able to miss it. The other thing I'll say is we are really prepared. We have absolutely read every single comment that has come through. When there was something that we wasn't clear about, we have emailed that applicant's parents or the applicant to find out more information about exactly what the concern or what the need is. So we are really prepared. So please don't ever feel like they haven't catered for me, because we have. You might just have to ask us and we might just have to find it. We have a team of 30 people, so the person that you talk to on the floor in the dining room most likely won't be me. It will be someone else who won't necessarily remember specifically your individual requirements. But if you go to the modified diets window, we have everything covered. We have a whole lot of spare and extra stuff just in case there's some other modified need that we hadn't heard about beforehand. And we are able to organise something on the fly. So please don't go hungry, come and ask us and we will be able to sort something out. Oh, I've gone too far. That was it, that was me. Any questions at this point? Yeah.
Saturday morning tea food, do we just bring our own something for the kids, or
Saturday morning?
When we get there, before lunch, the morning tea, is that catered for?
Okay, so once I have... Yeah, once I have a better idea of exactly who's coming Friday or early Saturday, we will definitely cater for them. Okay. I don't have views on what those numbers are yet, but I will once we've worked out the buses and who's exactly coming when. But yes, we will have food. Okay. So please don't bring your own.
So the standard menu starts Saturday lunch though, is that?
It does, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, but we do cater for, there are people who are on site before then for a whole lot of various reasons and things, and so I do cater for them as well, but only if I know that they're on site.
I'm just thinking, like, if we get picked up at say 9,
Yeah.
we're there at 10, 10:30.
Yep.
12 o'clock still.
Yep, we can
a fair
absolutely
way away,
cover
so I'm
snacks.
just- Okay.
Yep.
So that's sort of to be advised.
I don't know, it will be covered, rest assured it will be covered. As soon as I know how many people that's going to be, then I'll know how much to buy. But yes, it will be covered.
Thanks.
Jess, what about follow sharing the vendors that are running it? That's running right through lunch. They'll be served after everybody's finished.
So the people who are working at Wombat Hollow, you mean? Okay, so they can go into dining room B and self-serve at any time that works for them. We will open dining room B just before the main dining room opens, by about 15 minutes or so. So if they come, yeah, and they can always make themselves something and take it down there with them or eat it there quickly, whatever works. Yeah.
Does a modified diet equal the dessert component for those?
Absolutely, and snacks and drinks as well. Most of the drinks will be cordial or juice. We have some people who are diabetic and require a no sugar drink option. So absolutely every single piece of food that we're providing has a modified option where that need has been identified.
And you just suggested before, I believe, that if they haven't signed up for a modified diet, but if you have a really fussy eater and that child's not eating that day, we'd be able to come up to the window and,
Absolutely.
And see if there's something
Yep.
else offering.
Yep, please don't ever let anyone go hungry. Even if they're a fussy eater or they haven't signed up to a modified diet, we'll be able to work something out. So please come to the window and we will do our very best to make sure they get something. Yeah. Obviously we don't have a whole restaurant, supermarket right in our window, but we will work really hard to try to find something that will suit. Yeah. Yeah.
For example, the Joe, you just like right on their sandwich, grab a sandwich, and not have it right, is that something that you
Yeah, for sure. So there's two ways to handle that. If in your box of 15 sandwiches there is just nothing that a kid will eat, what you're able to do is go and walk over into dining room B and make a sandwich for them. Rather than coming to the modified diets window, it'll probably just be quicker for you to pop over there. Perfect. Yeah, just whip over into dining room B. Yeah.
The 20-minute window is pretty optimistic. What if the kids are still in the middle of eating their burger together or doing or whatever they're doing?
Yeah.
And you haven't kicked out or they...
We will never kick people out. For dinner, we have 30 minutes for each.
For lunch, you know, kids are like, the 20-minute window is very narrow.
So this is where we ask for leaders' help. You can always pick up a sandwich, and we will have a roll of it's called perforated kitchen towel on each table. So you can put a sandwich on that, wrap it up, take it outside and eat it outside. As you saw, there were 1,000 people eating in that dining room, 70 tables. So we actually only need to reuse 30 of those tables. So if there's a spillage or something that slows us down, we have a little bit of slack in there. But we do ask for the leaders' help to, if your joeys are struggling to eat in that time, most of it is designed that you can pick it up and take it outside with you. Yeah.
You said with modified diets, just the leaders go up. What are then you said build your own meals.
Yep.
So in some situations, you're going to need the joey to come up and say what they can eat, what they can't.
So have that conversation with your joey before you go up. It may be vegetarian, for example. So you may go up to the modified diets window and pick up the vegetarian patty. And then the rest of what's in your kit, they can still build their own from. You're just adding that vegetarian patty in instead of the meat patty. So it kind of depends what the modified diet need is, but just try and use some common sense and be pragmatic and have that chat with the joey. And if they say, "Oh, just get me a veggie burger between 2 bits of bread," grab that.
Did you just say that the leaders, if they've got problems with meals, can go into the next room, to the buffet room and make up a sandwich themselves?
So if we want to minimise that, right? It is an option, but we want to minimise it. So it's not to take away from modified diets, because if you need a modified diet, then you need to go to the modified diet window. But if there's a kid who's just, like, you're down to only ham sandwiches and they just don't want a ham sandwich, a leader can nip over into the other room quickly, quietly, and make up another sandwich to give them. Yeah.
I might be the one that
Sure. Yeah.
Water stations, so they'll be located around so that they can fill up with bottles and stuff.
Excellent question. So Joshi has organised water stations that will be at various locations around the site, where you can fill up water bottles and stuff. So it's water on access during the day, and then actually in the dining hall there will be bottles of cordial pre-made on the tables that you can use. But yeah, water out and about around the site. Yeah. Any other questions? No, all good. If you think of any later, I'll be around. Oh, sorry, there is one.
You've allocated 20 minutes for lunch, 30 minutes for dinner. What's breakfast?
5.
A prize to the first person that can look it up in the book and shout it out. 20, there you go.
Some of you had a snoop in the way in and picked up your book. We printed 120 of these for 120 people who said they were coming today. On your way out, grab a handbook, but only grab one for you who's actually physically here. Everyone else, it's already on the website, they can download it for themselves at home.
Okay? If you think of anything else, ask me.
David,
it's your turn.
My turn.
Your turn.
My turn. Was that complicated? It's simple. It sounded complicated to me, and the buses sounded complicated. Activities is really simple. Activities is about having some fun, all right? There's some complicated stuff happening in the background because I've got a team of people setting up Wombat Hollow, which is where you fill in your time when you first arrive, if you finish lunch early or you're waiting for lunch and you haven't got there, don't forget to get there on time though. Then I've got 6 activity bases. To supplement Wombat Hollow, who went to Kangaree? Anyone? Yep. Remember the awesome CFA bus and activities they were running? We're doing the same, all right? So we've got the CFA plus Wombat Hollow to entertain you in between activities. It takes a little bit of time to get through the CFA, so if you've only got 10 minutes until your time to turn up for lunch, find another time to go to the CFA, because you don't want to get in and then out. You'll muck up the whole flow in the system. Oh, look at that. Oh my God. Okay. All right. You're going to have your wristband. It will have a colour. Your programs that you've got, or you'll pick up, or you'll download. You'll know where to be when you need to be there. So, I thought, there it is. Found it at last. Okay. All right. The buses stop over here. The buses will continue down to around about here, and your Joeys and the line leaders that are staying with the Joeys will get off there, nice and close to the CFA and Wombat Hollow. Right? Whoops. CFA, Wombat Hollow, nice and close together. I thought others would have had the map up by now. If you don't know where you need to be, when you need to be it, admin, first aid, it's all around here. It's not far from Wombat Hollow. Okay? Oh, sorry. I want them to get to activities. Okay. We have 6 activity bases. You will be doing 3 on Saturday afternoon. You will be doing 3 on Sunday morning. I'm not going to tell you an awful lot about what's happening at the activity bases because it's got to be a secret. All right? We have our Joey secrets. Shh. No. I'm not even going to tell the leaders too much about it. You can work out a little bit about what's going on from where some of them are and what their titles are. Okay. Number 1 is try cubbing. Okay. So that's introducing you to the next level of Scouts for the Joey Scouts. They don't say Joey Scouts long enough, they all move up eventually. Number 2, good night, sleep tight.
We love it, said Bonnie and Ben.
Number 3,
you can see it extends out over some blue stuff. So there's going to be some fun and games down there. That's been put together by the Adventurous Activities team. All right. It's all going to be very nice and safe and highly controlled. Okay? Very highly controlled. Sue will tell you, I don't take risks, do I, Sue? Never. Yes?
They need to change of clothes.
They should have a change of clothes with them anyway.
In their backpack.
Or they need to change their shoes.
Look, the object is not to get them wet. Look, the leaders, it's not Kangaree. We're not having a muddy day or anything like that. I wouldn't be carrying around a change of clothes for all the Joeys in my mob, because the plan is not to trash the Joeys. That's something special that they do at Kangaree. Okay? You've got to leave something special for the cubs. All right. Now we're going to be allowed to sleep in tents. There's going to be fewer special things left for when they get to cubs. So getting trashed at Kangaree is going to be one of them. It's good fun. I've been trashed enough times. Okay. You will start by the colour of your wristband at one of those 6 bases, and you will continue around the circle in that order. So you're not going to be jumping from 1 to 5 or anything like that. If you start at 1, your next one will be 2. If you start at 5, your next one is going to be 6. I'll have up some signs to point you in the right direction, but not a lot, because it's not a huge site. A lot of you have been before. Most things are in similar places to where they've been before. The bases, it's only one night. They won't put up hessian and fences around them the way they do at Kangaree to such an extent. Some are going to, but for one afternoon and one morning's activities, you can't fence everything off and make it quite a structure. So there will be entrances to each of the bases, and we'll put up a sign to say queue here for activity number 1, try cubbing. So when you move to your base, congregate in that area, and then the activity leaders will guide you through. They will probably break you up into mobs and shoot you off in different directions, because they don't want you all to congregate at the first activity. You've got to spread out so everyone gets a good turn and a good play, and then you'll probably rotate around. Some of them are totally unstructured, some of them are more structured, and they'll move you around. You'll spend roughly an hour on each base. You're given 10 minutes to get between bases. One of the breaks is a bit longer, so you're going to have your morning or afternoon tea. Now, we've already been told that Joey Scouts care and Joey Scouts share, and so do their leaders. So, some of you will be allocated other roles, or people from your group will be allocated roles as activity leaders. They've got to share their time to activities. They might have a child at Kangaree, but their primary role is helping the activity leader. So having a parent helper turn up with the first group of Joeys and nick off when the last group of Joeys leaves isn't caring and sharing, all right? They will probably also be expected to unload the buses. So when they've finished unloading the buses, they should make their way to their activity base. They will have been told prior to which activity base. If they're not sure where to go to admin, but we really don't want them going back to the mob, all right? The Joeys are grown-up, independent little people, okay? They don't need their parents with them on the big adventure. So if they're allocated to activities, I'd like to see them down at activities as soon as is practical. So help unload the bus, go to the toilet, maybe set their own gear up, They will have time after the activity's finished and the activity base has been tidied up after the last activity and things prepared for the next morning to catch up with the mob and spend some time with them. They're not even supposed to be with them when they're getting fed. They've got a separate place to go. So please, if you are allocated to activities, it's your primary role. It's not a secondary role. I'll fill in and do a little bit of help at activities. On the same basis, if you're a line leader, your primary role is to help with the Joeys. Now that may mean helping out at the activities. You'll have more fun if you get involved. The activity leaders will have been there for a day and a half, working hard, setting stuff up. They're the ones who know what needs to be done, but if you can listen and help out where appropriate, some activities they might say, look, just go over there and have a bit of a rest. Other activities, you might be needed to give a hand. Some Joeys are more special than others. The activity leaders don't know that. They're your Joeys, you know your Joeys. So if you have a Joey who has an auditory processing difficulty and can't comprehend instructions, well, I can see some people smiling and nodding. Please do the listening for them and get the information to them in a structured manner that they can comprehend. So yes, you will have to break it down, okay? So care and share and help other people and we'll all have some fun. So it's all pretty simple, as I said. The other thing I want to stress is some of the activity leaders are young adults. They're venturers and rovers. They are young adults and they are doing an adult role at Kangaree. We're all volunteers and they've given up their time and I'm sure they get up to much more exciting things than I do on the weekends. So they've probably given up more than me. So please treat them as adults. They're not slaves. They can contribute an awful lot. It's what Baden Powell worked out over 100 years ago. You give young people some mentoring, the right environment, it's amazing what they can achieve. So virtually every major event, there's some adult takes it out on a youth helper. We don't want to have that happen at Kangaree. All right? So that's basically all I need to tell you, is to have some fun and care and share. Any questions? Yep.
Will the try coming back be handed to the leaders on the bus on the way home?
That's how it was done last time, so I'm pretty sure the try coming badge will go with the bus captains. Yes.
Haven't been told otherwise.
Yeah, we'll assume so. Yep.
Can I just clarify? So you were saying if you have a parent helper coming with your mob, will they? Are all of them going to be assigned activity leaders, or? It
would depend on the numbers that you've got going with your mob.
So let's say you had 8, which I think.
Well, no. I don't know how the allocations are done. The allocations are done by admin. Okay, so I can't second guess.
Yeah.
What's going to happen. You will be allocated with a role, and it's not me who's doing the allocations, it's admin, and it'll be based on numbers. You won't be left with one line leader and 10 Joeys, but you won't have 4 adults and 5 Joeys, I can tell you that. It will depend on the number of adults and youth helpers we get enrolling. It'll all get worked out after the 4th of March. So there's a lot of things we don't know yet. Yep.
We're bringing in a couple of veterans.
Yep.
Will they know what they're doing before the event, or they?
Yes, they will be allocated to an activity area prior to, once again, after the 4th of March. I will try and make contact by email with people just to make sure that they realise where they're supposed to go. Some of the bases are doing dress-ups. So I will have contacted the base leaders to get the basis of a dress-up. Now, if they don't want to do a dress-up, you don't have to do a dress-up, but you can be in the uniform or whatever, your old Kangaree shirt, or see Russell and buy yourself a Kangaree shirt. It all helps to pay for the event. So yes, so they will be contacted prior to and know where they have to be. But trust me, I've run activities a couple of times in the past, and there are a number who just turn up right at the last minute. The activity guys do need a little bit of time to explain what your role's going to be and work out their teams. And the first rotation, if the activity leaders have only just turned up with that rotation, it makes it very hard. And we want everyone to have a good first rotation, okay? And likewise, at the end, think about hanging around and helping the pack up, okay? It's pretty late on Sunday night when some of the activity leaders are still packing up and leaving, and they've already had generally Friday, Saturday, Sunday, pretty well flat out. So just think about them. I've had people stay right back till 6 o'clock with me on Sunday night helping because they were private travellers and they were fantastic. So much appreciated. They were very caring and sharing cub leaders. Yep.
I actually got a question for Nikki, which you think of before, the scarves. When do they get the scarves?
Oh, that's Russell.
Oh, that's Tom? Okay. That's cool.
All right. Yep.
So, I think you've already covered it, but if we've got care helps coming on the bus, maybe allocated to activities or whatever, that they would still be sleeping with the rest of the mob there, or are they going to be over in the...
They should be taking their tent and sleeping in the activities area. It should only be line leaders. Now, I don't know whether any parent helpers without police checks will be allocated as line leaders. It'll depend on the numbers, but that's one of the reasons they haven't gone through that level of process that we as leaders have gone through, and they're probably not allowed to, in some cases, sleep with the youth. So, no, they should have their own gear and be... Yep.
Where for a child that's on the spectrum, his father is becoming an old helper.
He should put himself down as a carer on this application form.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I went to Kangaree as a carer. There were 3,600 cubs, and I cared about one. And it worked. It was good. Good week. Yep.
Will the activity helpers be given an email where it explains all this stuff to them? That they are sleeping elsewhere, they're eating elsewhere?
After that magic day, every adult member, every venture, every rover will get an email saying, you are doing blah. You will need to bring your own tent, yes, no. Your manager is blah. Your bus is blah. And that will all happen after 4 March.
Will that email include that they cannot spend time with their joey, and they should explain to their joey that they have different roles, they need to be away from them? Will that be explained?
If it says you are working with Josh and the Works and Services team, you'll need to make sure you're spending your day working with Josh and the Works and Services team.
Yeah, and if they've chosen not to come here today to learn the information, that's what we're all here for, so that we can go back to our mobs and share that information, because we'll know who's coming from our mob. Yeah?
Look, and we're not saying that they won't spend any time with their Joey Scout. I would recommend that they didn't, because as I said, Joey Scouts are little people. They like their independence. The first time I got involved in activities and ran a sub base at a Kangaree many years ago, I had a 8-year-old cub. And I got asked by Sue, would I help out? And I said, I'd better check with the family. And I asked my wife, she said, fine. I asked the venture age one, he said, yeah, I'll come and give you a hand. And I asked the cub, and his one thing he said was, are you going to be with me? And I said, no. And he said, good. And he saw me, the only time he saw me was the time he spent on my base. And I did manage to get a photo with him, but it took some effort, because as far as he was concerned, Cubs is not family time. Cubs is for cubs and scouting is about bringing up independent, resilient youth. Now, he moved out to Bendigo for his studies, and he laughed at all the first years. They had no other first years. They had no idea how to look after themselves. Absolutely no idea. His one comment, and he hardly came home, was, I'm not hanging out with the first years because they've got no idea. I'm sort of become a second year socially already. This was before it even started. This was in O-Week. Because he was independent. Now, as I said earlier, they're all different. Some have special needs, and yes, if they need a carer, they should have applied as a carer. Yep.
So if activity leaders get allocated leaders, will we need to contact them before Kangaree to let them know what
No, they will get an email. They will get contacted and told, and I will also send an email, so they will get the official one from admin, and I'll send the activity. I'll also send them some further details about the activity base. I'm getting, information, as I said, about costumes, and they will have time to spend. Like, you might be half an hour after activities finish, helping to tidy up and prepare craft materials or whatever for the next day on some bases. But after dinner, there's the show, there's all that time. There's quite a bit of time where they can catch up with their Joeys if they so desire. But it's not their primary role, okay? If they want to be a Joey leader and spend time with Joeys, hand them, what's the current form? It's not called an A1 anymore.
Invitation to join. It's
called an invitation to join. So if they want to spend time with Joey Scouts, become a Joey Scout leader. All right. Any more questions? No, we're all good. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just confirming the ratios 1 to 4. Is it within the group? So you
That's what we're aiming for.
So roughly, yeah. And then 1 to 4 plus carers are separate. Yeah, and obviously that would have to be on the youth record and also the carer record that they are the carer for Sue when they put their unspecified role in. Yeah. And then there might be one overarching leader as well for the mob. So that might be one extra. But that's roughly. We need to have a look at these numbers.
After the 4th
Remember,
of March.
the 1 to 4 ratio is for the whole site, so it includes everybody. We've got the 1 to 4. But you may not have 1 to 4 in your mob, with people going around with the kids to each activity. Because at the activity, there are people that make that up. On the site, we have enough people. We're well over 1 to 4 adults to kids on the site. So we'll leave you with enough kids, enough adults in your mob to manage your kids. So you haven't got one leader and 100 kids on your own. Jack?
I just wanted to check with the kids that we've got coming, if every single one of them is ASD, ODD and or ADHD.
You've got a fun journal.
Oh yeah. So obviously we would prefer to have get a ratio.
Yeah. If you have carers coming as carers,
we've got 2 carers.
Then they will have. Then they aren't counted in whatever we work out because they're 1-to-1 with that kid.
Right.
So if we work out that you've got 1 adult for every 5 kids roughly in your mob, your carers are on top of that because they're only responsible for caring for 1 kid.
So at the moment we've got, if we take out the kids that have got carers coming, we've got 8 kids registered and we've currently got 3 leaders going, which is what we see like
Yep.
That's
fine.
I don't want to have anyone move down when we know these kids, we know we're going to need those 3 leaders.
And that's probably roughly what we'd try to work on?
It might not be. If it's really important, you've actually got kids that have requirements.
Yep.
That need to be something to, and you're asking us to consider that one specifically. Please send something through to info@kangaree.com.au because that does roughly sound like one could have been moved. So if you've got needs, can you make sure on the applications for carers, when they choose their role and other specified, they put in that they're a carer and who they're caring?
Oh, okay. Yep. No worries.
If you have that sort of ratio of special Joeys, I hope that's reflected on the applications in that medical information. Too often as a Joey leader, you find out they're special when you meet them and it's not on the medical form, and admin, if they don't know that those 8 Joeys are special, they'll split them up.
Yeah.
So it's very important that the correct information goes on those forms, because otherwise it won't work.
Can I say something?
Yes.
With
I would dare not say no. I wouldn't dare say no.
With welfare too, if you keep those secrets, we can't work with you to make it better. And the same happened with Kangaree. People didn't tell us kids were on the spectrum and needed someone to help them. If we'd known that before, we could put things in place to make it easy for you. You're amazing people who give up so much time anyway. Let's make it great, let them dream, let them have time to play. If we can work with them so they've got someone to make it easy for them, for our delicious little people, it's easier for you too. So if you've got kids in your Joey mob, like the ones up the back, get the parent to go back into their application. If they are learning deficit, or if they are one of the alphabets, put it on the application form so we can be prepared. That's all about your welfare, their welfare, and our welfare. So just go back into that application, and it is only one night, but it's an amazing night. So we need to make it really special.
If you have kids that are challenging with parents, how do we make them?
You need to have that conversation with the parent if they haven't put it on the application form. It's for their child's benefit. It's the way you sell it. Don't go back to them and say, oh, your kid's special, you need to put that on the form. But if you go back and say, welfare can set up ways to help you, we need to make it easier for your child and special for your child, and you need to help us by doing this. Go back in, put the information there, don't keep it as a sleepover secret. I've just had a little sleepover secret, and it should be on the form. And we could have worked with them.
If you're making changes on those application forms, it needs to be done by 4th
of March. All right, let's move on. Thank you very much. So Daniel and Michael both couldn't make it today. Michael's very sick and we don't want his germs, and Daniel's busy entertaining at AG. The entertainment program for Saturday night is up on the screen. The arena will be open from 6:40. Be all done and dusted about 8 o'clock. Story probably, it says 8:20 to 8:30, but I think that's a bit optimistic considering you've got 20 minutes to herd the kids up the hill, toilet, teeth and jammies before you go to bed. But we'll work on that and hope for the best anyway. The break from the usual, we've actually coughed up some money and we've got a kids band coming to keep them entertained. They'll do a 45-minute set, and we like the entertainment guys like these people because one of their characters is a Joey. There's a kangaroo with a Joey. That's a secret. We're not telling the Joey Scouts about the Joey kangaroo. The entertainment guys have been down, they've seen these guys in action, and they're pretty good. You've got some big secrets you're hearing today, haven't you?
No, you're not allowed to say.
Yeah, you're going to keep your mouth shut. The bedtime story. This is the bedtime story that'll be won't be read. It'll be pre-recorded because if trying to get both of the pavilions ready at the same time is quite challenging. So it'll be pre-recorded, and if one pavilion's ready before the other, then the stories will happen at separate times. And they're also our trumpets and flash and bang, some sound effects and stuff like that. But yeah, that'll be the story. Any questions on entertainment? I probably can't answer them, but I'll give it my best shot.
The guys that are camping in tents, the Joeys in tents, will they get moved into one of the sleeping areas to hear the story, or will they also hear it out inside?
Yeah, Bronwyn will come round with a copy of the book and read it. We can provide a copy of the recording for the guys outside if they want to have it in their tent. We'll talk to the entertainment guys and we'll work out a plan for the guys who are camping. Because it would be too disruptive to get them all to bed, then put them into the pavilion and back into bed again. So we'll make that happen outside. All right, Josh, your turn, mate. You come and show over on your finger.
Yeah, give us a wave, Josh.
Anything you want to say? No. Josh is doing site services, so if toilets overflowing, there's rubbish everywhere, go and bash in. You won't be? Are you organised?
Can you stand up so I know what you look like, Josh?
Stand up, Josh. Give everyone a wave. Everyone say hello, Josh. There we go. Okay.
Give us a wave, Josh.
Well, that was the quickest presentation we've had today, wasn't it? Murray, your turn.
Oh, hang on, services.
Yes.
Is that just toilets and stuff like that?
Well, why? What do you mean?
Well,
Watching
you've
this.
asked us all to bring mobile phones and to keep in touch with the parents if we need to, and etc.
No. We've actually said quite the opposite. We said don't talk to the parents, don't put stuff on social media. So we don't care about your mobile phones, they can all run flat.
But if the bus is running an hour late, you've got to text the parents on the other end.
Well, you can, and the parents can wait. Yeah. The bus updates will be on the website, so there's no need for you to have your phone whatsoever.
I'm wondering if there's phone charging facilities.
Don't be ridiculous, it's one night.
Okay. I'm going to go reiterate a lot of things which have been said already, just to go over them again about where is it. So, first of all, it's at Lardner Park. That's Ducky's problem to get you there. But where stuff is around the site, this is just going over it again, what we've got covered up already as to where things are, to find your way around. I mean, you've all done your basics, you'll be able to navigate, read a map, there's a map in the book, but it's just hit the highlights again so as we go through things. So, where do we arrive? We arrive at the bus stops for unloading the joeys. These are the bus stops at the back of the sleeping pavilions. The buses will always travel around the outside of the area where the joeys are. So they'll come around there, and at this point, as has been mentioned, venturers and adult helpers, we need to help get stuff off the buses and into the pavilions. Inside the pavilions, we'll actually have areas marked out for your gear to be dropped off at, so you'll be taken from the bus and don't just put it on the ground, you keep going inside the pavilion and find your spot. And there'll probably be something like balloons with a number on it or a colour or something like that. We'll work that out in detail. Once they've got the buses unloaded, the joeys don't get unloaded. They come around to Wombat Hollow and you unload the joeys there, and that's outdoor activity time. So there's spare time activities, the CFA's there, the Wombat Hollow's there. Lawn there, you can put the joeys down, put their feet up, have a little sleep on the ground if they've done a long trip, whatever they need to do. So where do we eat? Right over there. That's the food area A that Jess has talked about. The actual activity leaders are in just the very top part of the sleeping area B, about there. So they're just in that very top part of that area there. But basically, you queue up outside where the little black arrow is, and there'll be a door marked for Jess's area to come in, and the marquee for the exit will be the other side of that somewhere. So that's where you're going to be fed. So you need to be able to get to that point from whichever activity you're on, or the Wombat Hollow or the CFA, to that point at the right time. Sounds like a bit of a circus, keeping things moving around. It is a bit of a circus at times, but we get there. So what are the activities? David's covered this off, but try cubbing, good night, sleep tight, Adventureland, Castles and Cubbies, When I Grow Up, and the last one, just close your ears, Nifferland. Okay, oh, of course, and Wombat Hollow and the CFA. So that's where the activities are. The blue arrows on the map in the book is your rotation direction. There are a bit of a distance to travel for a couple of them, so you've got 10 minutes. Make sure you actually travel on time and try to arrive at the bases on time. The big thing, of course, here is that we've got to try and start with about 150 Joey Scouts per activity per cycle. So they come into the activity bases, we have 150 kids travelling to the next activity. You need to basically don't run into each other, try not to cross over paths. We don't want people getting mixed up and I'm going, whoops, there's a mob going that way, I'll go with them. Don't follow, just follow the arrows going around and go to the next one. It's a real circus. We won't actually have a ringmaster cracking the whip. So I'm not going to be there doing that, but you need to think, I'm a ringmaster, I need to move people around on time to the right places. So, where's the arena? Well, it's really easy. It's right slap bang in the middle. It's where opening ceremonies, entertainment, closing ceremony occur, and it's right there in the middle of everything. During the activities time, it will be open space, okay? So there's no fences around it. The stage is in the corner, down the bottom there. That little bit there is the actual stage. And so basically using the slope of the hill there to give you a reasonably good view of the stage no matter what. It is also an area which, if anything occurs and we need to clear the site, the first place you'll be directed to will be that arena area so we can get ready together. That's never going to happen. So, yes, where are the toilets? It's never a question that Joey's asked. First one is there. It's outside the sleeping pavilions, and there'll be an extra set put there by Josh's team, so that that's got an extra facility there. Obviously, that's quite a good one if you're in that area to go to before the meal breaks and so on. Next one, by the back of the arena, middle of the activities area. And again, there'll be extras placed there. Third one, up by Wombat Hollow, also handy for prepping for meals. To go there, toilet break to that point. And for the service and activity leaders who are sleeping right over there in their tents, they bring their tent off the bus, they walk up that bit there and they'll set themselves up in that service and activities area. Activity leaders are not sleeping in with the kids. It's only the Joey line leaders who are sleeping with the kids in the pavilions. And if a person is down as an activity leader or a service leader, BYO tent or you're sleeping under the stars. So where do we sleep? Obviously Joey's and mob leaders are there. Some Joey Scouts are camping. They've got this little campsite which will be set up outside. It will be set up like a Kangaree packed line. That's the 5 mobs we've got coming, going to be sleeping in there. And activity leaders, service leaders, adventurers and rovers all sleeping up that area there. Other stuff. First aid and welfare and the admin office. That's right slap bang up close by the sleeping areas. At the top of the hill has a view over the entire site. That's where Nikki's hiding. That's where Brian and her people are hiding, and the first aid team if you need major first aid. Leader supper and coffee area is right there. That's the coffee spot. That's where the coffee van will be. Obviously, there's also going to the area B of the catering area for hot and cold water during the day. Any questions? Now, first question, so I know is answered. This map's in your handbook. Okay, and I'll see if I can get some printed up and put up around the site as well, so you've got an extra map. And the blue dashed arrows are the activity rotation. Just keep following them around. Now, there's a couple other things which have come up. There will be a little stand about Mob Council 4. I just recommend that a leader from each mob goes there at least to have a chat with Rosemary, and that will be there. Little pavilion will set up at the end of the Joey campsite area, and that's where Rosemary Redgrave will be. Sorry?
And it'll be about camping.
And a bit about Joey's camping as well. So the information there about Mob Council 4 and Joey's camping come out for YPR. Any questions other than that? Yes?
Say, for example, you're being given an activity leader.
Yep.
And you've got your own child who's going to be at the tent. Are you allowed to go in the tent and say, good night, this is where I'm going, and explain it all to them? And
yes, you can go and say good night to your own kid.
okay, thank you.
But not staying there, yes.
Yeah, no, I realise that.
Will there be provided lighting in the service and activity leaders camp, or do we need to bring it?
You're camping in tents outdoors in an open area. There is some facility there, but it is basically if you need light BYO.
Okay.
Yes.
One thing I hasn't covered is setting up. Are the Joys putting their own, Lees and Joys working together in their mobs for them to set up their beds and everything like that?
Okay.
What's happening?
Well, during the unloading, we basically moved into the area assigned for your sleeping area. If the leaders and who are doing unloading want to start laying things out, obviously do your own stuff, so you're prepped. But the Joeys, when they come in from Wombat Hollow, there'll be partly leaders hands on deck to help set stuff up for them. The adventurers and adult helpers who are doing the unloading won't know whose is whose. Okay, so you do need the Joeys there to say, that's mine and where's my bag gone? That one's mine. Okay? It will be a bit elbows and kneecaps tight in the areas. You will have room to basically have a bunk space laid out, and obviously the trick is small bag. If it's small enough to go under the stretcher, that's great, because there is not going to be a huge amount of rollover. If everybody rolls over, they've got to roll up together and then roll back. Okay. Any more questions?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm a leader by myself with 2 Joeys. How's that unpacking, all that kind of stuff going to work for me?
So you travelling independently or with the bus?
Well, good question to be decided.
To be decided answer.
Coming down on the Friday. Okay, I am? Okay. Didn't we go through that before with you on
Yeah, people. Some people arriving on the Friday might be the tenting people, so they might be in the pavilions. You'll be identified and directed to the right place. Yeah.
In case of emergency, only a showering facility.
Sorry?
Shower in case we have to scrub a Joeys. Or have that.
This toilet block here has showers in it. This one has showers in it by the pavilion, so there is a showering facility there. If the leader's getting really early, they can get in there as well. Anybody else? Yeah.
You mentioned before about line leaders being responsible for time locations.
Yep.
So we, as if we're line leaders, we will be looking at our group and moving them through according to the time factions of the...
Yep, off the timetable, yep, which is in the book. So there will be some assistance to guiding you around. The entertainment guys may play a music tune, we may have a hat with a whip cracking, who knows? Okay? Yes?
Last time there was people who brought along toilet tents to change into. Is that still okay, or that stops the crowding up in toilets?
Yes, I'm getting a nod from down the front here, so
We're going
yes.
to provide some too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of the
on-speak tents, little pop-up ones in the pavilions, but if you've got something you can bring to speed things up a bit, bring
Sure.
Yep. Anybody else? All good? No, not quite, yes. Yep. There is power along that area. It's not a huge amount. If we need to have that provision, we need to know who it is, and they'll need to be close to the power poles there. Some of those are like caravan park areas.
With the activity leaders,
yep.
Can they take a double swag?
Fine.
Or that be from
As long as it goes on the bus you're coming in on, and you can carry it down there by yourself, not a problem. There's plenty of room down there. That area is expandable.
The bus might be a concern though.
The bus is a concern, yeah.
I just wanted to confirm too, when we feed back to our mobs about out of bounds areas or Joey Scouts, I'm assuming down the back behind the other sheep.
Yeah, basically, the out of bounds area is any of the activity sites, and the blue line is in the area. I wouldn't take them any further than the end of the sleeping shed, and then sort of come down around that area. None on the back road at all. The back road is absolutely out of bounds, it's bus territory. The only vehicles moving will be Josh's vehicles during the time the Joeys are on site. It's a literal absolute lockdown in that sense. Yeah, you're allowed to. Yes.
Where's all the parking for all the trailers and stuff on the Friday?
For the trailers and stuff on the Friday, that'll be down that service activity leaders area again. Once you've unloaded, we move them down there. If we can put some in the area where all the activities listed. There's a big car park site there, so we can put them down there out of the way as well. There's options we have there. Yes.
With keeping gear to a minimum, what's the recommended that the joeys sleep on?
Sorry?
What's recommended for the joeys to sleep on?
Small stretcher and a small bag to go under. Literally, as small as possible. Yeah. I don't want you to sleep on concrete. Bring your own, yes. Nothing's provided. No, nothing provided. The sleeping pavilion is literally a big pavilion with a concrete floor.
I mean, just thinking practically, the joeys aren't told to buy tiny little stretchers. They've got decent stretchers in bags. Like if you add on that, the sleeping bag, a pillow, and the little bag, are the buses going to have problems with all that? Is that because I mean at Kangaree, we have to take all that down separately because the buses didn't fit.
Okay. To date, we haven't had a problem there apart from when they put the small bus on a return trip. So again,
the same bus
label.
we used to get the kids to the jamboree with 12 days worth of gear. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like a Kangaree, all the gear went down.
Okay. As Dan is saying, when I did jamboree, everything I had went into the one bag, including my tent. Right? Yeah. So again, don't overpack it. Don't want those big red, white, and blue, orange bags. Stick 3 joeys in. Okay. Yes. Sorry? No. That's Russell. Where are we going to? Anybody else? All the details are in the book, the maps in the book. Ask questions afterwards.
Yes. Thank you, Barry. Now, the one everyone's been waiting for. Where's the scarf? Tell me about the scarf. Tell me about the scarf. Russell, come and tell them about the scarf.
What's the question? The scarf. So this is the scarf. Yeah, the unfortunate part about organising merchandise for a Kangaree at this time of year, I've got to tell you, is that China goes on holidays. It's New Year. A month ago we were looking at our numbers and we had about 400 people, and like last night it was 1,150. That doesn't help either, I've got to tell you that. So what date is it, Jess, did you say? March, that's it. So I hope we've ordered enough, because I know what we have ordered, and they're due in, they come in actually, I can get delivery next week, but they will be getting delivered to you when you arrive on the bus. So the scarf and badge for our youth members, most of you will have already got a badge. We sent a badge out to everybody who had a listing of Joey Scout in their primary or secondary role. On the 7th of February we sent out badges to other leaders that didn't have a Joey Scout, and I've made up a list and I'm going to give it a couple out today, but another mail out, one more mail out will go out next week for those leaders that have booked that haven't got Joey Scout in their tag, so they will get the badges in. From then on, the rest will get it on the bus when they arrive. All the youth member badges will be on the bus, where you'll get it on the bus when you arrive. And we've had a long-term plan on this. Nikki and I just decided 5 minutes ago. So it'll come out with the wrist tags and everything else. So that's the scarf. Any questions about the scarf? Right, good.
Well done.
The shirt. Nice shirt. I'm surprised, just outside how many we've sold already. So there's an order form outside. I need the orders in today to get them to you by cover. Sorry. My first involvement with Kangaree was number 1. I haven't been involved with any of the others. So. So the shirts will be available there'll be a place marked merchandise at Kangaree and you'll be able to pick them up there, but please, if you want one, order them today. They're outside. There's this polo shirt and there is a hoodie. There is also, if you wish, you can, the sizes are not overly generous, so if you were normally a medium, I'd say have a large, go one size extra. No, they're not fitted because you can get male or female shirts or hoodies and stuff, but most of them aren't. They're waisted. The ladies' ones are waisted, and that's W-A-I-S-T-E-D, which causes us a lot of problems. So I only get the generic one size. Okay, so they're not waisted types. Ducky's body size is unique. And if you would like an extra badge, you can purchase them outside as well. Good. Well done. That's it. Any questions?
So the badges that you've got on your shirt there, are they on the ones we ordered today?
Yes, you're exactly the same as this. These are not a sewn-on badge. The hoodie out there is a sewn-on badge, but it won't be if you buy the hoodie. These are embroidered actually on the shirt or the hoodie, so they're not the actual.
So we don't have to sew another badge?
No, it's just.
No, I'm going to sell you a shirt for $33 and sell you a badge.
That's
actually a good idea. You might be able to Kangaree next time.
Needle and thread as well. No, these are embroidered on the shirt, so they'll be embroidered as that. Okay. Any other questions? Excellent. Well done. See you later.
Alrighty. Well, we've raced through. I said about 12:30 we'll be done, but 10 past, we're almost done. Any burning questions you haven't asked so far, speak now. Put your hands up.
Mine's a bit of a curly question.
Oh, we like a curly one. Nikki?
I wasn't sure which department should go to. We're currently hosting 2 Joeys from a mob that's expanded.
Yep.
So we have no Local details down, no Scout Central details. What happens when those kids register? Do we get notified that they're registered, or do we just go by the fact, I'm registered?
Their group leader, whoever is listed as their group leader, will have to approve that. So hopefully the 2 group leaders are in discussion because they should be holistic. So that's how you would find out from there. But if you can send a note through to, are you wanting them to stay with you in a mob?
Well, there
you
is
want them to be as part of your mob.
Yeah.
So just pop a note through to info@kangaree.com.au. You're not the only ones in this situation, so pop one through. And then when Ducky's doing the buses, we just align the mobs with the buses and we'll just make sure it's covered. Thank you.
Is there a gear list in the booklet?
Yes.
Sorry, what's the cut-off date for application?
Yes. Off you go. Goodbye. Thank you. How many nights is it? 2? Yeah, 2 nights. Yeah, if you're a hillbilly, 2 nights. If you're a suburban kid, it's only 1. Or if you're us, it's probably 3. Sorry?
The cups, the mugs already available.
No.
It's last year was the last time we didn't get them till about.
Well, if you want any, I've got plenty.
Who's got the... We're going to release the cups for this Kangaree in time for the next cabaret, so... No, the cups will be at Lardner Park when you get to Lardner Park. And if they're not, then we'll have some kind of a substitute. But yes, the cups will be there. We've been assured by our merchandise gurus. Yes, good.
Is the cut-off midnight, 4th of March?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, so the system will actually be closed by IT overnight after midnight on the 5th.
Yeah. So 11:59 and 59 seconds. If you're in, you won't be. Goodbye.
Sorry, I was just asking a question. If we've got people that have registered that haven't paid by the 4th of March, will their registration still be considered received? Or is it they must...
No, application must be in by the 4th if it once in the system.
Yep.
They'll probably have a few days after that to pay before Michael will get angry and kick you out.
No worries.
Yeah, I don't have to get angry at those. Frank's not my thing.
That's mine. And he's outside going to his FPOS machine. Any other questions?
Can we, Jeffrey would like to stand up and say something about the sleepover badge.
Jeffrey, come on down. The floor is yours.
Okay. Have you all, your Joey's got sleepover badges?
Yes.
If you haven't, we've got them on sale today.
Please don't talk for so long next time, Jeff. Anybody else? Last call. Bronwyn.
Can I just say, when I was talking about welfare, if your child goes to school with a carer, they need a carer at Kangaree. And the same will happen for Kangaree in the future. Okay? Because it's a big day, only one night, but it's a big night when you're a little person. And if you already have someone who looks after you 6 hours of the day at school to help you focus and get the best out of the day, please make it easy for them, so make sure they have a carer. But if they have a carer and they've changed it on their application, then they need to go to info@kangaree.com.au.
And the carer has to also put their own application in.
By when?
By the 4th.
Midnight.
Midnight.
Midnight. Now you watch. IT will turn it off like an hour beforehand to make us all stupid now we've said midnight.
Is the slideshow available?
The slides from today will go up on the website. The entire day has been live streamed and the video link is on the website. That will remain there as well. The handbook's also up on the website at the moment.
What happens if you hit the cap?
What cap?
Is there a cap of 800?
No, we budgeted for 800 youth members.
Oh,
So,
that's completely different.
well, I don't know who told you. There's no cap. Well, that's a good thing to tell them, to frighten them into getting their applications in. You like that? That's good. That's a lot. Hang on. Question. Shut up over there.
It's easier in the one bag, we must have a name on it, on both.
Right.
One other thing when you're doing your parent training, we don't want that 4-letter word mentioned, that MISS word, followed by you or me.
No one's missing.
When you're training your parents, they're not to say, or the siblings, oh, guess what we're doing while you're away? Or sookie la la things at the bus stop. They can do that all the way home. So on your notes home and when you're talking to your parents, quick goodbye, can't wait to hear what you're doing, going to have an amazing time, all these awesome activities. I want to know all these things you've done when you get home, not what we're going to do while you're away.
Yeah, no, we're going to have a great time
None
when
of
you're
that
away.
MISS stuff. It's nearly as bad as fun.
Yeah.
Bronze reminded me too, when you're talking with your parents, please remind them, do not send snacks with your kids.
Yes.
Even if they particularly love a particular snack, please don't send it with them. We are an entirely nut-free site. We will be an entirely nut-free site. So please do not bring snacks. We have plenty of snacks, plenty of fruit. Do not bring anything.
No. If you're coming from miles and if you're coming from Berwick, then suck it up. You can eat when you get there. If you're coming from Mildura, then it's probably suggests that you would need to eat something on the bus if you're coming from that far. But
just use common sense.
Yeah, common sense. Yeah, and it would be probably better for you guys as leaders if you've got a long trip. Yeah, you know, as leaders, you give them an apple or a banana or something on the bus, rather than something laden with sugar and make them all sick. All right. Any last call? Very good. All right. Thank you guys for getting up in the morning and coming down. We'll be around if you've got any questions, and we'll see you at the park. Don't forget your book. Part 1.